Hey, what's up guys? It's Cypher. Today we are designing the 5th building piece of Fortnite. You guys already know about walls, floors, ramps, and pyramids. Well, we decided we're going to design the 5th one. And you might be thinking, how is that possible? What could you possibly make that would fit into the building world of Fortnite? Well, we came up with a pretty brilliant idea that I'm going to explain in today's video. The reason I've been thinking about this is Fortnite is a game that has become extremely popular primarily because of the unique building and editing that exists in the game. However, ever since the start of the game, literally since chapter 1 season 0, we've only gotten minor quality of life improvements to building. So why is it that the most popular function of the game has had the least amount of updates? You might think, well, if it's not broke, you shouldn't fix it or try to fix it or make it better because they could potentially make things worse. But I wanted to think of something creative that could potentially work in Fortnite and not destroy the game. All right, so first thing, let's break down the current grid and building pieces and how they interact with the building grid. So we have floors and walls that are on the outside of the grid. Then you have things that you can place inside the grid. And there's only two things you can place inside the grid. You can place ramps and cones. And the thing is, if you already have a ramp, you can't build a cone in that spot. This new building piece that we've come up with is going to be a building piece that is placed on the inside. So it's going to take a position of a ramp or a cone. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I present you the new building piece that we've come up with, and it's the Fortnite pillar. That's right. Like I said, it's going to be a slot that takes inside a box. It's inside the grid, and you're going to be able to build a pillar in the box. It's going to go from the floor to the top. Of course, we're just showing this off in creative. It's going to look kind of like the actual builds, so it would kind of look like this, but the pillar would be in the center of the box. Based off of this, like if you put a cone, or not a cone, but if you put a pillar down, you can kind of use it and work different angles. Defensively, you can use it like if someone takes your wall, you put a pillar down to hide behind it. Typically, if someone takes your wall and you put a cone, you're still kind of exposed even if you go all the way to the back. The pillar could be a very unique way of taking some cheeky right-hand peeks. I'm going to explain how this could be implemented and how the edits could work on this. The edits are actually where things get really, really interesting with this building block. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here. We're going to use the wall to kind of replicate what the editing system would look like for the pillar piece. For example, let's say you want the pillar to be just straight up in the middle. By default, it's going to look like this. And if you want it to go sideways, you would go over here and it would be in the corner. If you want it to be laying across the floor, it could be laying across the floor like that. It could also be going across the middle, and I'll show you exactly how this looks like in game. And maybe you can even do a diagonal piece where it's going across diagonally. The edit would be like a standard wall, but the wall would actually come up in the middle of the grid instead of like on the edge. Like imagine this building piece, but it's like a pillar and it's coming down coming down the floor of the middle. It would be pretty easy to implement the edits, and I'm going to show you exactly how those edits look like in game. So right here, this is how the pillar would end up looking like if you did it across the middle. This is actually a very interesting edit because it leaves your opponent's feet exposed. Like if you take their wall, and then open up, place the pillar sideways like that, their feet are exposed and you can take some cheeky shots at their feet. Of course, they have the option of jumping up and shooting you. So like you'd initially open the box, you would place it by default vertically, and then you can just really quickly flip it horizontally, and then they're kind of in an awkward spot and you get this free shot on their legs. So there's a lot. It would really increase the skill ceiling of the game, and that's kind of why I feel like Fortnite or Epic has not really done too many major changes to editing. They want to keep the game a little bit simpler for console players, maybe people on Switch, people on mobile. If you add a new building block, you have to add keybinds for it, and it can really complicate things. Here, I want to show you guys another cool way to utilize this. You could probably select a square at the top and at the bottom and leave the middle one open, so it would look something kind of like this, and it would create a pillar with an opening in the middle, and you could jump up and like quickly shoot and then reset the pillar to be fully solid again. Maybe in an actual game, I mean, yeah, you can just like kind of fit in here if you wanted to. You can place the pillar in the middle or on the sides as well, and this would be one of the edit styles. I mean, this could give you a right hand peek. Like if you're playing aggressive, This is going to be a right-hand peak. On your opponent's screen, it's going to be a left-hand peak for them, so they have to go wider. So it's going to really reward players who know how to play their angles properly. This would be the floor edit, where it's all the way on the ground. Probably want to use this defensively. If you're being pushed, you can place this down and kind of get behind the pillar and use it for cover. We also got the top edit, and I mean, this could be used to kind of block people off from maybe escaping. A lot of times, like if you place a cone in someone's box, what happens is sometimes those players will just jump up and edit out of their own build, like that. Well, this top edit is a very aggressive edit, because what happens is you place this here, they're completely exposed, and if they start trying to edit out, you literally have a free shot on them, and they can't use your own build for defense. Like when you place a cone in someone's box, they can use that cone defensively and hide behind it and take peek shots. If you put a ramp, you're completely blocking them off. You have to edit the ramp, or they edit out before you edit the ramp. Now we have probably one of the most uncomfortable edits that you could do to somebody is the diagonal cone. You can place it this way and then flip it the other way if they're hiding behind it. But with this diagonal cone, you can get some pretty cheeky shots on your opponent, and it makes it very uncomfortable for them to be in their own box. You can also use it like at the top of your 1x1s if you just want to like take shots from cover or from behind weird obscure angles. You could also use it just to hide. You know, like let's say you want to bait somebody, you open up 1x1, there's maybe some loot, and you're just hiding behind your pillar, and then as soon as they show up, boom, you pop out from behind the pillar and shoot them. There's a lot of different ways this pillar could be implemented. All right, chat. So will Epic ever add a building block like this? The answer is most likely not. However, chapter 3 is around the corner, and I feel like if we're going to get, you know, probably a new map and a new chapter, we're already in season 7 right now. I would love to see some changes done to building and editing, something to really refresh the game, especially for the people who have been playing for over 3 years. I would love for there to be something new to learn, something new to experience, a new way to build and kind of experience the game. At this point, we've seen so many different kind of exotic guns and mythic weapons, and if that's the content moving forward, I mean, that's not awful, but it's something that's kind of been done already. When there's a new exotic, we might have fun with it for a few days or a week, but then it's kind of gone and we forget about it, or we don't even drop for that weapon anymore. Building is the only content that's existed and evolved for the past 2 years with little to no updates done besides some quality of life changes. And these are the type of changes and updates that usually give you months or years of fun as you learn and experience, you know, a new building style or a new block and try to master it and implement it into your gameplay. That was some of the initial fun in the early days of Fortnite, is learning to build, learning how to edit. And I feel like we can re-experience that with some of these new concepts and new building blocks and editing styles. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, guys. Chapter 3 is not too far away, and Fortnite could look very, very different sometime next year. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you guys have any other concepts that you think would be cool for the game, and don't forget to like and subscribe.